Our program of What's Food Got to Do with It? Understanding and Treating Eating Disorders met over the weekend of March 30th and 31st.
Сейчас я немножко мы поговорим о том, что происходит между мамой и ребенком.
Day 1 focused on the early roots of eating disorders in infancy, while Day 2 zeroed in on no-entry defenses and gang dynamics.
There were times when I yelled, there were times when I cried, I screamed, I quarreled, I spat.
Right now. Come on, right now.
My experience with the participating group was amazing. Unlike no-entry defenses and gang dynamics we were considering, the atmosphere in the workshops was strikingly open, as if the group were hungry for learning and willing to work at digesting the ideas I was putting forth.
Тебя что-то проникает, но ты не понимаешь, не чувствуешь. Вот нет этой связи. И такая фантазия, что как будто бы с мамой у этой пациентки вот функциональное было какое-то общение, поглощение, но не было чувственной такой связи.
The to and fro between and among us demonstrated an engaged and cooperative group, certainly not a gang. Even when the different from usual format that we used for the supervision piece of the program felt foreign and even frustrating to some, the discourse was thoughtful, respectful, and very enthusiastically responsive to the clinical material. I was impressed.
Я обратила внимание, что во всех парах в 4 месяца мама чувствует себя брошенной и оттягивает момент прикорма. У всех сепарационная тревога за их детьми, и они отмечают, что младенчик начинает отворачиваться от них. Раньше он как котенок был в груди, очень сильно переживает по этому поводу. И очень часто в кабинете потом это бывает продолжение. Например, когда 9-месячная девочка берет куклу и начинает ее качать. И мама кидается к ней, отбирает куклу и говорит: что ты, тебе рано еще рожать своего ребенка.
The next workshop, which will be on Saturday, the 18th of May, will build on what's come before. No entry defenses, gang dynamics, and this time a particular version of a harsh superego often join up and form a pathological organization, creating obstacles to our reaching our eating disorder patients and to fostering movement on the side of life rather than towards destruction. Central to the dynamics that patients with eating disorders present and suffer greatly from is a harsh and very primitive superego.
What do you have? Let me see it, please.
Anna Shaughnessy has brought our attention to an understanding of a superego that's not a unitary entity. That is, there's not just one form of superego and superego functioning. There are actually several types of superegos that serve different purposes and functions. Her idea of the abnormal superego is a variation and continuation of Beyond's ego-destructive superego. And it's a concept that I have found to be very useful in understanding and working with anorexic and bulimic patients.
Как мне кажется, она терапевта воспринимает как диету как раз. Что это вот та курица с салатом, которую обязана принимать по часам. Но очень хочет, чтобы терапия, конечно, стала безвредными булочками для нее.
In this workshop, we'll get into not only what an abnormal superego is, but we'll also tease out what abnormal superego functioning looks like in our clinical work. We will especially address how we can get caught up in enactments where the abnormal superego of the patient meets up with an abnormal superego in the therapist via projective identification. How do we manage this and work our way back to a therapy couple with a clinician with a normal superego? These are things we're going to discuss at length.
The family gets ready for bed.
You are going to your bed hungry.
The food is unfinished and the camera is switched off.
A second focus of the workshop is on exploring vicissitudes of sibling death, on both the development of an eating disorder and the presence of an abnormal superego. The place of siblings in the dynamics of eating disorders has not been fully explored in our theories.
And in therapy, Novelette and Roy are having trouble connecting.
I think Gabrielle wishes that it went just as nicely as this when she and Mummy are having their meal.
Boy, she said she's taking a rest.
That's to talk about in the session. Huh?
There we go. Okay, you play with the ball while I can talk to Doctor now, okay? Time for us to go almost.
We do actually have to finish now.
Yeah.
I will describe the importance and impact of the nature of sibling relationships in general, as well as present clinical vignettes that elucidate the presence of an abnormal superego in patients who have experienced a sibling death and its aftermath, which included an eating disorder. Envy and greed are also addressed not only in relation to the mother therapist, but also in relation to siblings. Of course, when siblings are introduced into the conversation as potent internal as well as external figures, we also have to consider the degree to which these object relationships can be played out in the transference and countertransference, demonstrating another level of complexity to our work.